Caitlin Clark heating up after hitting the first three of the second half, and then here stepping in. There's the fist bump you were talking about.
Hello, guys. Welcome back to the channel. All I've got to say is wow. Seriously, wow. First game of the season, and that did not look like a championship contender to me. Not even close. There were moments, sure. We saw flashes from Caitlin Clark. We saw moments where the offense looked explosive. But overall, that game raised way more questions than answers. Caitlin Clark finished with 20 points, 7 assists, and 5 rebounds. On paper, that looks solid. But 2 of 9 from three-point range is still a problem. The shot just does not look fully comfortable right now. There were stretches where she looked aggressive, pushing the pace, creating opportunities, doing everything she could to get this team moving. But there were also moments where the offense completely stalled out. Kelsey Mitchell dropped 30 points, Aaliyah Boston added 23 points on 9 of 14 shooting. Your big three combined for over 70 points at home, and you still lost. That is the biggest issue here. If Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston all put up numbers like that, this team should not be losing to a Dallas Wings team that only won 10 games last season. And can we talk about the defense for a second? Stephanie White was brought in as this defensive mastermind. Everybody kept telling us, wait until Stephanie White changes the culture. Okay, where was it? You gave up 107 points at home. 107! Against a team with one true superstar-level player in Paige Bueckers? I'm sorry, but that is unacceptable if you're supposed to be a defensive team. Lexi Hall struggled badly in this game. She looked like a liability defensively and offensively at times. Misha Hines-Allen? I'm being honest, I did not understand that signing then, and I definitely don't understand it now. There were moments where I was sitting there thinking, this is what we spent money on? It just was not good enough. Now, I will give credit where it's due. Michaela Timpson looked impressive. 11 points in 19 minutes, 5 of 6 from the field, active around the basket, brought some energy. Damiris Dantas also gave solid minutes offensively with 7 points in limited action. At least they looked ready to contribute. But the bench overall, not good enough. Raven Johnson didn't impress me. Sophie Cunningham only scoring 3 points is not going to cut it, even with the rebounds and assists. This team has a serious depth issue. We talked about it all offseason. Lack of length, lack of bench production, lack of reliable second-unit scoring. And after one game, every single concern still looks real. Now, let's get over to this. Grant Young is now back on the bench with a heating pad around her lower back. This was in the third into the fourth quarter. Caitlin Clark is now back in the locker room to start the fourth quarter. No further update, guys. There's something going on there. I don't know, we don't know, but after what happened last year, good Lord. You know, a lot of people are wondering, is that groin already giving Caitlin Clark problems again? Is there something going on with the back? A lot of people were fired up, including myself, Dave Portnoy. Caitlin Clark plays basketball today. Absolutely. Caitlin Clark, 6th fastest WNBA player in history to reach 1,000 career points. She also became the fastest point guard to do so. So the fastest point guard to ever reach 1,000 points. Also, she is the fastest player in WNBA history to reach 1,000, 250 rebounds, and 250-plus assists. Caitlin Clark is generational. That's pretty badass. Fastest player ever to do 1,000, 250, and 250-plus. Caitlin Clark right here. Let's just check it out.
Yeah, I feel good. Started off a little slow, I think. Just the anxiety of the first game, trying to work through that. But overall, I felt good. Felt fast out there. felt like I was literally a couple buckets away from putting together a really, really good game and helping us win. But our offense is obviously not the issue. We're perfectly fine on offense, and there's still so many things we can do better on that end of the floor. But, I mean, you got to give Dallas credit. They're really good. They shot the ball incredibly well. Really, the only quarter we put together was the third. I guess in the fourth we were fouling. So, but, figured it out a little bit there in the third. We just got to be able to do that a little more consistently. But it was a great test. It was a great game. Our locker room was positive afterwards. So we're not going to hang our heads. We're going to move forward. A lot to be proud of, and a lot to learn from too. So it was only one of 44. We got a long ways to go.
I'm going to be honest. After watching that game, there's definitely a weird feeling around this team right now. And I know it's only one game, but some of the same concerns people talked about all offseason already showed up immediately. The bench looked shaky, the depth looked questionable, the lack of size and length was obvious at multiple points throughout the game. And this is where people are going to start asking serious questions about Stephanie White, because we kept hearing all offseason that Stephanie White was going to completely transform this team defensively, that she was the missing piece, that the culture was going to change. Okay, well, explain this to me then. Paige Bueckers came in and looked comfortable. Arike Ogunbowale dropped 22 after just getting back from China. And Indiana still lost at home to a team that won 10 games last season. That cannot happen if this team is supposed to be a true contender. You only get so many home games during a season, and this felt like one you absolutely had to have, especially when your stars produced. Caitlin Clark finished with 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists. Kelsey Mitchell exploded offensively. Aaliyah Boston got hers too. Your core players gave you enough production to win the game. Usually, when your big three puts up numbers like that, you expect to walk away with a double-digit win. Instead, they walked away 0-1. That's the frustrating part. I saw people before the season predicting this team would start 9-0 or 10-0. I genuinely do not understand how anybody watched this roster and thought that was realistic. Because when you compare them to a team like the New York Liberty, the difference is massive. I watched the Liberty last night, and if Indiana played them right now, it probably gets ugly fast. There's still a talent gap, especially when it comes to depth and consistency. And look, there are winnable games on the schedule. There absolutely are. But effort matters too. Toronto Tempo played hard. Dallas played hard. These teams are not just rolling over anymore. That's why this loss matters. If somebody told me before the game that Caitlin Clark would finish with 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists, I would have said Indiana probably wins comfortably. Instead, wrong answer. A lot of concerns people had about this roster already look real. People can scream trust the process all they want, but criticism is fair when the same issues keep showing up. Stone cold truth, no sugarcoating. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.